Good evening, everyone. Tonight I'd be talking about Dalit ng Paslit by Benilde Santos. But first, I'll be reading it to you. Dalit ng Paslit by Benilde Santos. Tay, sa isip ko lang to sinusulat. Sinulat ko na to kahapon, pero isusulat ko ulit ngayon. Kasi talagang nahihirapan na ako eh. Mula nang mamatay ka, nang lumubog yung barkong sinakyan mo. At si nanay, sumama sa tricycle driver dyan sa kanto. Naiwan ako kay Tio. Di niya na ako pinapasok sa school. Sa bahay na lang daw. Kaya pala. Dadalhin niya yung mga kaibigan niya dito. Sa gabi. Alam mo, maingay sila at lasing. Sabi nila nung unang gabi, "Bah, pwede na tong alaga mo, Lazaro ah." Tinitigan lang nila ako, tay. Sabi, laro lang ha. Huwag ka matatakot. Tawa sila ng tawa. Lahat kami humiga. Tapos madilim. Tapos umaga na. Hoy, sabi ni Tio. Tayo ay pupunta ngayon sa Maynila. Magbalot ka na ng mga damit mo. Pero hindi ako makabangon. Tumingala lamang ako sa kisame. Nagbilang ng pako. May kalawang ang lahat. Sa Maylira, marami pang pinapasok. Siti yung mga lalaki. Malalakas tumawa. Maraming pera sa bulsa. May mabaho, namang merong mabango. Merong mataba, may payat, may malinis. May katulad nito yung sumisinga sa sahig. Lalo nang dumulas. Lalo nang dumalas ang pagtingala ko sa kisame. Pero hindi na ako makapagbilang ng pako. Kasi yung kisame, naging isang salamin. Kita ko dun lahat, ang ginagawa namin sa sahig. Tayo magsusumbong na ako talaga. Kasi 2 taon na, at saka malaki ang salamin. Dumaraming nakikita. Saka baka di na ako makabangon. Mabigat na yung puson ko, tay. Pabigat ng pabigat, tay. Parang buong Maynila ang nasa loob ng tiyan ko. Alam mo? Alam mo? Alam mo? Okay, so that was the poem Dalit ng Paslit by Benilde Santos. Okay, first I would like to talk about the theme of this poem. So I think the theme would be confession. It was specified in it. There was confession, and there's a point of revelation and weariness on the part of the speaker of the poem. It was specified in the part, Tay, sa isip ko lang 'to sinusulat. Sinulat ko na 'to kahapon, pero isusulat ko ulit ngayon kasi talagang nahihirapan na ako. So this part of the poem directly stated that she was finally, after so long, going to tell her father about what has been happening to her since he passed away, and was left alone by her mother to her uncle. So these introductory lines was a strong start, emphasizing strength as an understatement to the weakness that she was showing in the surface, the weakness that her voice and the tone of the speaker of the poem's voice was conveying. But the overall tone of the poem was imitate this intimate disclosure by intimate disclosure of the speaker. So the author wanted us to feel that the speaker of the poem, the girl, was disclosing or confiding her secret to us as well, even if it was a private letter to her father. And the mood would be sorrow and exhaustion. So when I read it, I saw sorrow and felt that she was tired, because I think the formation of the poem had something to do with it. Um, in the letter, it was divided into pieces. Like, there were parts na kita ko dun lahat ang ginagawa namin sa sahig. So the division, I know that in poetry, the division is very important. The formation of the words were there for a reason. It was there for a specific emotion that the writer wanted us to feel. Um, One literary, a poetic device that I have observed was imagery. So, here's a part, pero di na ako makapagbilang ng pako. Kasi yung kisame, naging isang salamin. Kita ko dun lahat. Ang dami namin ginagawa sa sahig. So this part described the feeling of the girl that she, because of rape happening to her repeatedly, felt that she was seeing through the bodies of men who use her in prostitution and see her or their reflection on the ceiling. It was as if she memorized everything that happens during rape and feels numb about it, and she could just see herself in her imaginations that she was going to waste. This is also in relation to what I said earlier, that there was exhaustion in the voice of the speaker. Another poetic device that I have observed would be metaphor. So, here's a part. Mabigat na yung puson ko, tay. Pabigat ng pabigat, tay. Parang buong Maynila ang nasa loob ng puson ko. She used Manila to symbolize the weight she's feeling. Um, because um, the time when rape happened to her repeatedly was when she went to Manila. So I guess that was somehow related to it, and that Manila symbolized the weight she has been feeling. I believe not only in her stomach. She may or she may not be pregnant as well, but she was also referring to her emotional dilemmas. This weight came from the huge number of men who has been raping her, who has raped her, and this weight that she speaks of grows every time it happens again. Um, I like the way the poem was written. It was in the form of a letter, not too deep and trivial. It was straight to the point, and that's important considering that this topic is sensitive and it covers a lot of issues, especially for women. It's a sensitive poem, and not only rape but also child trafficking, child prostitution, pregnancy, and a lot of private emotional issues of women. I felt for the speaker in the poem not because I experienced rape myself, but the horror of rape is definitely and automatically what all women could relate to. So I hope that you saw what I saw in the poem and that that you also understood the feelings that I thought I felt that I felt when I read the poem. So thank you, viewers, for watching today's podcast, and have a great night. Again, I'm Angela Caballes, and good night.